Idaho Sports Talk, Prater in the ball game, and as Prater said, possibly the greatest edition in Idaho Sports Talk history. Today, unprecedented access. We're now talking with the head football coach at Boise State during a game week prep. Andy Avalos joins us. Coach, welcome to Idaho Sports Talk, the season opener at Washington in 9 days. You feeling it yet, Coach?
Oh yeah, it's exciting to flip the switch here and turn the page in the book and move on to opponent scout. And even though throughout fall camp we're constantly looking at our opponents that we're going to face during the season to get those looks in, and whether it be walkthroughs or service periods in fall camp. But it's awesome to be able to flip the page and start preparing for our first opportunity.
Coach Avalos, yesterday in your presser, you talked about making that transition from camp into game week, and you're fully focused on Washington now. And one of your quotes was full-blown game mode. You're in right now, and your football team. For you personally, what does that mean? And I'm looking at like a 60 seconds of behind the scenes. What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? And what's your day look like in between?
Well, it starts early now. I mean, we get up, a lot of us are here somewhere around 5:15 in the morning. So 4:30 wake up call. The coffee's already made the night before. The
Nice.
timer set on the coffee machine, and you pop up, drink some coffee, and get rolling. And, obviously the opportunity to get out in front of things that you personally need to get done early in the mornings is the time, because you get working through the morning. We're a morning operation, so our meetings start at 7 a.m. And by the time, we get to practicing and get off the field, it's 11:15. And you get going on your afternoon meetings, whether that's a practice review. And then now the mode of, and what we're talking about is game mode, is now adding in the opponent scout stuff and being able to create a game plan, and each and every day there's certain situations at practice, within the process that we add on each day. It's mixed downs, first, second down, third and mediums on one day. Then we're going into some more down and distance situations on Wednesdays. We're going into different field zones on Wednesdays and some 2 minutes. So it's a lot of preparation, not only for practice, but for meetings. And so, more times than not, that's not finishing up till around 11:30 at night.
Coach Avalos, okay, 100% to the Washington Huskies here. The emotions, starting a season with a big-time, heavily ranked opponent. Coach, what's the good and the bad that comes with this type of opportunity for your football program?
Well, I think always, it's not a 2-week process, whether it's for our first opportunity, or the rest we get this season. It's, up until this point, from January on, we've been preparing. I mean, it's not the first time that we're working to prepare ourselves, both mentally and physically, to handle the opportunity, full year-round deal. So, one at a time, the 1-0 mentality, and to open up on the road, on national television against, a very highly ranked team that did very well last year. It's a great opportunity to get ourselves ready and start this season.
Coach, one of the sexiest parts of this football game, as you know, is the quarterback battle. The fans are going to be fascinated by it. The media is fascinated by it. And you spent a lot of time working on Michael Penix versus Talon Green, and two just beautiful quarterbacks doing their thing. How do you visualize these two quarterbacks doing their thing on September 2nd? How do you visualize that battle going?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's probably one of the reasons why it's on national TV. This game is personnel driven, and each team has two good quarterbacks. And obviously Penix had an unbelievable year last year and chose to come back. And so football starts, with the quarterback position, and then obviously within the fronts from there. And so both these guys are very capable in the pass game. Obviously, Washington's offense is one of the top pass offenses in the nation last year, and they're both very capable of extending plays and making things happen with their legs.
Coach, you're in game mode, and we hate asking these questions. We did ask the same question to Coach Pete. Everybody's asking the same stuff, and I just want to know your emotions. You're a West Coast football dude. You've been on the West Coast your entire life. You know what it's like in the Pac-12. You've played for Pac-12 championships. You have Pac-12 rings. You're at Boise State. What's going on with college football in the West, and how is it impacting your brain and your emotions?
Yeah, I mean, it's change is always hard, and it doesn't matter if it's this magnitude or just little. Change is hard, and so obviously that does affect emotions and stuff. But being able, as we always talk about, to keep the focus, on what you can control and the things that you can actually have an impact on. But college football is changing. I'm going to tell you guys, in the last 3-4 years, college football has changed more than it did in the previous 25 years. And, with some of those things there, you got to find the opportunities. You got to find the space where you can move forward and have a positive impact in the program you're in, and be able to take advantage of the opportunity, because there's going to be a lot of people that, complain about some of the change, and you don't want to get caught up in that. You got to find your space and your opportunity to grow. And, overall, just seeing the Pac-12, what it looks like is going away. I mean, I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up watching all football. I wasn't just the Pac-12, but obviously being able to go to some of those games as, a kid and a young man, a teenager in high school. I mean, that's kind of hard to see, the conference going the direction it is.
Coach Pete talks openly about part of the reasons why he got out of the game was, the transfer portal, the NIL, and he said some pretty strong things about that. You're still a young guy in the profession, hopefully with many, many years to come, but do you find yourself beating your head against the wall about some of these rules? And eventually, will there be college football coaching burnout because of the direction we're going with this sport?
Mike, you bring up very valid points, and obviously Coach Pete has shared his experience and kind of where he's at and the direction he's decided to go. And to be honest with you, we all experience those things. But again, it's who is going to handle change the best and find the space and opportunity to grow and advance. And that's, to be honest with you, that's what we've always done at Boise State. Whether we were on the map, not on the map, we were able to establish ourselves as a contender. And what does it look like to continue to grow, to be able to grow our program, to be able to grow our brand? It's going to become hard work, and there's different dynamics, whether it's some of the things in recruiting or the portal or things like that, that come into play now. You have no choice but to create a plan and find your space and get your staff on the same page and get your players on the same page and do it together and create something that's different than some of the other places.
Coach Andy Avalos with us. Coach, we're going to bring Chris Petersen on in an hour. You left Boise State as a player in 2004. Chris Petersen brought you back in 2012 as the defensive line coach, and you've been with the program a long time since. What impact has Chris Petersen had on you, Coach Avalos, personally and professionally?
Yeah, I mean, just to be in this coaching tree, whether it's the coaches that, I got to meet and create a relationship and gain knowledge from as a player, then obviously on the coaching side, being within our coaching tree, the Boise State tree. There's a lot of great coaches, a lot of guys that have had unbelievable impact on young men and obviously have been very successful. And Coach Pete, has not only done that within our coaching tree, but within college football. And so the opportunity when I got to come back here as a young assistant, a little over a decade ago, I was very fortunate because I got to learn a lot in those 2 years. I mean, you're talking about Bob Gregory was on that defensive staff. Jimmy Lake was on that defensive staff, and Pete Kwiatkowski was on that defensive staff.
Wow.
And I was the young guy. So imagine the amount of ball I got to learn, but not only ball, we talk about process. This is a process driven game that involves personnel and people, and just the things that I'm so grateful that I got to learn from being in that room. And then obviously big structure wise from Coach Pete, when it comes to a program and the organization and the detail that goes into, everything. And that's the separation. So I'm very grateful to be a part of the coaching tree and obviously playing and within this brotherhood here at Boise State.
Coach Avalos, let's continue talking about relationships a little bit. And here in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Boise High football coach Mike Altieri, former Boise State football player, and your relationship with high school football coaches in the Valley. There's especially former Broncos, the brothers, as you like to call them. There's about a half dozen of them, and then dozens more being assistant coaches throughout the Valley. How important are your relationships with high school football coaches, especially if they're part of the brotherhood?
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool part. It goes beyond. We're not just talking about college football. We're not just talking, there's coaches in the NFL that, guys that played at Boise State. We're talking about the guys that are having a huge impact, on the high school age, young men. And Mike Altieri is just a great example of that. Mikey's awesome. I love what Mikey's doing and what he is doing at Boise High. It's awesome to see the amount of alumni that we have as coaches. Those coaches, I mean, the door's always open for them to come study film in here, and our libraries of film are always open to them. Obviously, the opportunity for them to come to practice, the opportunity for any of our alumni to come to practice, whether they're high school coaches or not. That door is always open. That invitation is always extended. I mean, it's something special to be able to come back. For me, obviously playing here, it's been a while now, but I love seeing the alumni come out and hang out and be around the players. I mean, it's just something special. I think it gives our current players, great perspective to be able to meet some of these former alumni, whether they're high school coaches or not. But I'm just really proud of the men that have come from this program that are having such a huge impact, obviously, within the community. And the high school football here in Idaho that bar is rising now, and it's because of men like that. And we're very grateful for all the things that they help us with too, and the relationships we're able to have with them.
Coach, you know Justin Herbert from your time at Oregon. You guys won a Rose Bowl. You know Kellen Moore from the Boise State Brotherhood. Now they're both with the LA Chargers. Is this a match made in football heaven?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, those are two remarkable people right there. And, when that went down earlier this year, for both of them, what you talk about emotion, it was really exciting. And obviously I have not got to watch it a lot and see, any of the preseason really. But I'm excited to watch and pay attention as this season unfolds. Again, those are two remarkable people that are very gifted. And really, to be honest with you too, I mean, two unbelievably humble people that are going to work really well together. Just in my experiences being around both of them at different times, pretty excited to see what they do.
Coach Avalos, final question for me is it's kind of a serious question, maybe a kind of a personal question, and certainly something that you and I have talked about for a long time, and that's just media and access and building these relationships. And, we got a little more serious about it in Vegas last month, talking about certain things, and you've come through and given more access, which is about giving more access to the fans. And the one comment that I was always stuck to was, you want Bronco Nation to know your story. Kind of talk about that a little bit, the more media access. I heard there's something in the works. We might get access to you on Fridays, which has never happened around here. And it's just spreading the word. How is that important to you in your program?
Yeah, just as we talked about, whether it's our alumni, the supporters, the boosters, that's what makes this game so special, is the people that get involved, the people you get to meet, the people that you get to impact. And we've got an unbelievable team with great young men, and just Bronco Nation being able to see what is going on with these young men, so that they're not just seen on game day. They get to meet these guys, and obviously there's new dynamics too. With the transfer portal and the amount of people you can recruit now, there's no limits on initials and things like that within a recruiting class. So we got players coming in and allowing Bronco Nation to get to meet who these guys are. Well, that puts more on us too, to prep them in media training and get guys ready, not only to perform on the field, but to be able to have, to be able to step up in front of the podium and obviously have these opportunities within the media is awesome. And so we're very thankful for you guys understanding too. I think this is a relationship that goes between both that will help our fan base, Bronco Nation, have a good insight to the program and the individuals within the program.
Again, this is historic, unprecedented access with the head coach of Boise State this time of year. It's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Greatly appreciated, Coach Avalos. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys.